deal with airplane peanuts?
13.8 million people have seen the roast of Tom Brady, which included dozens of chaotic, unhinged moments live on Netflix.
We're live, so there's no way to hide the fact that Grunk might be on a little more than alcohol.
Don't say that shit again. Okay. On the count of three, we're all gonna say Eli Manning made Tom Brady his bitch.
This is live, and that was a standing ovation.
This is every comedian's reaction to the roast of Tom Brady, starting off with Nikki Glaser revealing a few of the jokes she couldn't use on the show.
These are just all ones that got cut because either they were similar to other things I was doing or just didn't fit in the flow of it. But let's throw some out. In talking about Tom Brady to all my friends doing research for this event, I learned that so many people want to suck Tom Brady's and a couple of them are women. Brady, you lost to a guy who makes Gronk feel cultured. CTE gets diagnosed with Eli Manning. Let's see. Oh, just the way he looks. I mean, I feel like we didn't really get into that enough. How crazy Tom Brady looks right now. But, I wanted to put a knife through him to make sure he wasn't cake. I was gonna ask him, I was gonna call him out on being just an anorexic Adonis. I was gonna say, hey, are you gonna eat something tonight? It's a cheat day. I brought some pussy if you want any. There's some blueberries in it before the night began, just to fit your weird diet.
I had three made. Here's was my options, just so you know.
Yes.
Roast Jay Simpson, which I used. That was fun. The real killer I didn't use. I thought that would be a good new nickname for me, but this one's the one, and I don't know why I didn't do it. It just felt like a joke on a joke, but
yes.
The juice, spelled Jewc.
Instead of roast Jay Simpson, Jeffrey Ross?
Rogan texts me, he's like, yo, can I give Dana White your number? I'm like, yeah, sure. And Dana hits me up. He's like, hey, man, can I just run this by you? Because I just need you to know what you think. And he runs a couple jokes by me. And they're funny. But the one about the trans, my name is Dana.
Yeah.
It's not trans enough for you liberal fucks. He says it to me, and I'm like, I don't know if that's going to go over. I call him back. I go, bro, I don't know if that one's going to really hit. I don't know if that's going to be the one. And he goes, like, what do you think? And I'm like, I just don't know if it's going to get the big laughs. And then he goes, oh, I don't care about that. I just want them to know I don't give a fuck.
Awesome. That is perfect.
I go, oh, it's going to accomplish that.
Had such a brilliant time. Because for me, I was trying to reverse engineer. I don't know anything about American football.
Yeah.
So I was going, Tom Brady's like nothing to me. I mean, he's very handsome, but I'm not a gay guy, despite being European. Yes. But also, he's a footballer, and he's one of the quarterbacks. Oh, fabulous. Doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I'm trying to reverse engineer the jokes in my head and going, oh, that must mean that guy was...
I wouldn't change the lines, the cadence, the part, everything. It was just structurally, everything was perfect about it. Tony basically lives in roast mode. So you sit with Tony in the green room, or you go to lunch with Tony, and he is like...
Tony Hinchcliffe's so good.
Dude, he was so good.
Well,
I was front row for it, and he's walking by me roasting, and just the steadiness of his pace, just going, nice shoes, Tom. Did you get those in the divorce? Just boo, but just so smooth, so confident. Who is this guy? Perfect way to get into it too, because it starts out in the crowd, and you're just like, who's this guy doing a crowd bit that's not the same as what we're doing up here? Dana White does his thing. Tony's sitting there, and people know who he is, obviously, but at that event maybe not as much.
Yeah.
But he owned that room within seconds, and it just starts out slow. It's good joke here. Oh, this guy knows how to write a joke. Oh, that one was good too. And then the crescendo of as soon as he gets to the comedians and starts going down the line at us, I really felt like I was watching a rock star. It felt like a musical performance to me. I told him that it was rock star levels of good.
That's so
walking
cool.
while roasting. And he told me when he was delivering the last one about the
Rodney King.
Yes, the King one, a perfect, lyrically perfect joke. He said he almost fell off the stage. Wow. He felt his shoe like he had one of those moments of, what if I would have fallen during that? It would have ruined. I mean, that would have been the worst. Yeah, I saw him the other night, and we both know what we're each other going through this week of people knew of us before on a big level that I would have never expected for my career, but it's next level now, and we're both you're feeling this too? It's a big deal for...
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Tony Hinchcliffe, man, he came out from the audience, right? He was sitting next to Dana White. His set, that might have been my favorite of the night too, Jeffrey. That was...
I mean, Tony, the last time we did these roasts, Tony was a writer. Tony is one of my favorite people, and it gave me such joy and such pride to see him step up like that and work the room in such a dynamic way and earn his spot. I mean, he literally took his spot on the dais.
Unbelievable. And by the way, Belichick staying on the dais too, like sitting down. That was awesome. That was. Did he?
Whereas a lot of people won't stay.
Yeah.
They figure they're going to get roasted someday. So let me save it. But Coach Belichick, I got to give him credit. And I gave him my theme music. I normally come out to the Imperial March, Star Wars, the Darth Vader theme. But my producer, Casey's like, if you're the Hellfire entrance, can Coach Belichick, can he come out to the Darth Vader music? And it was perfect.
I love it.
If you were asked, would you have been on the dais to roast Tom Brady?
I don't know. No, I wouldn't. Because I feel like that's what happened to him during his career. I don't think I ever saw anybody achieve the level that he achieved while getting all of this crap from an astoundingly cheating organization in the Indianapolis Colts. I think he's gotten enough crap. I can't even get into half the stuff that the Colts were doing. I mean, to have your owners sitting on the competition committee and have them make the way we cover their receivers illegal, and then you steal our offense so you can win a Super Bowl. When you have like crowd noise when Tom's on the field and it's like skipping and you have to shut it off. Have you ever heard of an owner of the losing team conducting an independent investigation and it's upheld? Like, shouldn't Roger Goodell be like, don't go over my head. I conduct, and all of it was upheld. So like, I think that guy's gotten enough. I'm like trying to think of like people on his level, like the Jeters, the Jordans, and all of them. People are like, oh my God, isn't this amazing? And Tom's whole time they're like weighing footballs, and even ESPN, they made up that crap about us filming a practice, and then we proved that it wasn't true, and they retracted it on Twitter at like 2 a.m. So I had no interest in giving this guy any more crap than he did. And then all the ugly bastards out there were all excited when his marriage went south because they can't even approach the local hottie in a towny bar, and it makes them feel better, and Peyton looks like a number 2 pencil, so nobody felt intimidated by him, and that was basically it. It's just like, all right, let's have a bunch of people go out there and make fun of the fact that his marriage crumbled. I mean, I don't want to do that.
This could have been your bet. You could have gotten up there and been the anti-Tom Brady roaster.
Well, you know what? They asked me to do it a couple of years ago, and when they first were going to do it, and I was editing a movie, and I just didn't have time. And then this time through, they didn't ask me, and I was really all right with that.
What was the best joke you thought against you?
There weren't a ton, I'll be honest.
Yo, I think, to be honest, I think what everybody thought was, oh, everybody's going to make fun of his haircut. Yeah. So I don't want to do what everybody does. Funny. So to give you guys some like behind the scenes shit, it's like everybody's making fun of the same people. So the jokes kind of get used up quick. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right? So you got to kind of like worry, like, uh-oh. Can I do this? Yeah. Is this going to happen?
And the later and later you go on the roast, the more and more jokes and topics get crossed off. Even if it's not the same joke, if it's about the same thing, it gets a little diluted.
So we were working with one of the producers there, right, who was helping us. He wouldn't tell us. He'd be like, hey, listen, this thing is probably, I showed him my jokes, and he was like, this thing's probably going to be kind of touched on, so maybe you want to cut it or veer away.
That's awesome they do that.
Yeah, Michael Lawrence.
Oh, yeah.
Genius writer, and he wrote for a lot of the athletes and stuff like that. And he was like, okay, this one is like, I said something about Giselle, and I was like, Tom, my wife leaving is never something to joke about, but let's take a stab at it. That was the last text Tom got from OJ. Right? It was just, the OJ stuff had been done a little bit.
Yeah.
So especially going later in the show, you're like, okay, how can I have a unique angle?
Right. Yeah.
What an eye-opening experience for comedy. Live, Kevin Hart, perfect master of ceremonies, to keep the show moving, to keep it together. It was alarming at how much people were just going for it. Comedy Central roast, which is what we've been accustomed to know as far as what comedy roasts are going to look like, are edited, finessed, and people don't like something, they take it out. This was live, baby, and they had a delay for sure, but people were going for it, and it was Kim Kardashian got booed, which fucking duh. She's not a comic, and she's there for photos and publicity and extra eyeballs and talking. And I know people have defended her and been like, it's really tough to go out there, but like, you know what you're walking into. I will give her credit. Didn't look like she was phased. She was just kind of like, oh wow, really? I don't like the idea of giving people like an enormous amount of respect for like going up and doing that when they don't do it. I mean, to a certain extent, the athletes maybe more so, but they're also famous for like putting their body in harm's way and being role models to kids, and there's more going on that I think you can really look up to
than a Kardashian. Kim gets an invite. Yeah, go to the roast. Who gives a fuck? I do love that part, I guess, where she's just like, I might get booed, I might get cheered. But when she was taken aback by the boos, that's when I was like, what did you think? What? Why would people go nuts for you? They went nuts for Ben Affleck. And then he said some stuff. I think I might have been a little stony baloney for that. But the comedy part of the roast is what we're watching for. And that part was solid. Jeff Ross crushed it out of the gate. Nikki Glaser had arguably the set of the night. Tony Hinchcliffe, my boy. Roast on point. Tony and Nikki, too, I think were just pounding away. And that was impressive. The speed, the articulation, still milking the moments. You could tell they were going off cuff a little bit. Tony coming from his seat to the stage, I thought was just a really cool thing and kind of added to the mystique of his performance where it was like, oh, he wasn't even on the dais. And he came up from the seat like a pedestrian and just annihilated. Bert and Tom were great, I thought. I saw some hate about their performance. So stupid. They're a fun duo, man. And it was a different bit. They had visuals and it was fun. Schultz is very funny, especially at the end of the show. Andrew Schultz to go up there and deliver is a tough spot. But guess what? No one makes excuses and nobody looks at what you're doing and goes, he had to go up in the late spot. So like nobody cares about that. You're on it. You are expected to be a rock star.
Yeah, it's a crazy fest too, because I'm like, I feel like I barely saw anyone. And also, you mentioned this in the live pod. It was so hard because we did 4 p.m. on Sunday.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, this will be great. Nothing's going on. And then I get the text from Shane. Hey, you want to go to the Tom Brady roast at the Forum? You can meet Bill Belichick and Tom Brady. I'm like, oh my God, what time? 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of the podcast. I could have been hanging out with Belichick and Brady and Gronk and and Randy Moss.
Yeah, that's like a metaphor for our whole lives. Is like we planned that exactly during the biggest event of the fest.
I know. I thought like, oh, this will be great. We won't miss anything. I'll be done by 6 p.m. But even if I could have gone to the roast, you're like, 3 hours?
Yeah, I heard like Schultz, had the toughest spot of the night because he had to close. So not only is it 3 hours in, it's also that joke's been done.
Right.
Gotta lose that one. So he did well for the scenario he was in.
He did a great job, and we got to talk about Nikki Glaser. I mean, the performance of a lifetime.
Set of the night.
So many great jokes every day. Kevin Hart wakes up at 4 a.m. to make a shitty movie. Gronkowski, first guy born with CTE. That was amazing. He puts the downs in touchdowns. He puts the tired and Gronkowski is retarded. I mean, that was amazing.
Yeah.
So many great jokes.
She was on fire. Tony did great. It was like a great fest, and it felt no holds barred. It felt like, hey, we're just going to say everything. It's all on the table. The only thing that I didn't hear was there a lot of kissing on the lips with Brady?
Kissing on the lips?
He kissed his kids.
Oh. No, maybe a couple jokes. Maybe
I thought that was going to be the soup du jour, but I guess not.
I didn't want to get into making out with your kids because I thought kids were off limits.
Yeah, nobody really did those. Yeah, right. Yeah, no, that was the only rule they told me.
Yeah,
no kids. And I'm like, well, obviously, I'm not going to make fun of it.
I was wondering why no one made the kissing his kid joke. Yeah, that would have been.
I mean, it would have gone, but at the same time, it's like the way I look at these things is Giselle's a public figure.
Yeah.
Outside of him, so yeah, we could talk about that.
Yeah.
If it's not someone who's public and it's like family or like children, then I'm like, I don't want.
Dana White was there, and I think Schultz said something like, maybe that's why Dana White is here, so he can teach you to f a Brazilian out of millions or something like that, because his ex-wife Giselle's Brazilian.
Oh,
because they're getting divorced, and
Yeah.
they went after him because of Giselle.
Oh, they had a lot
a lot. I mean, he got roasted, dude.
Really?
Yeah, he got roasted.
Was Giselle there?
No, Giselle wasn't there.
Oh, that would have been nice.
Did anybody in the arena, did any of them hear any of the jokes before they were live?
You know, I heard Julian caught wind. I heard on his podcast, Julian Edelman heard that I was going to call him gay. And so he was ready to go, I guess, make himself seem even gayer. I think he was just like, I'll just go in on that even more. I'll just, because he didn't really have a retort to me. He just like proved my point. So that was kind of fun. But yeah, we're all like, you got to check, because Jeff Ross and I are, and Tony Hinchcliffe and Andrew Schultz, all the comics are going from club to club trying stuff out. So if I would run into Jeff Ross, I'd stay out of the room, because you really want to respect what they're doing. But then, you know, there's some overlap. You also wonder what's the line. Like, I heard someone was doing an Aaron Hernandez joke, and I go, I didn't even know that was on limits, you know? So then it changes everything when you find out, like, oh, we're going there. Okay. Well, let's see. Now my whole set changes, because that raises the bar quite a bit.
I want to hear your guys' top 5 roasters from last night. Well, are we going to include Tom?
No, Tom's not in top 5.
Yeah, Tom's.
Okay, Tom is not.
Mine is Tom. Mine is Tom.
Let's be
So,
real.
people say he had the best joke of the night.
Which one?
I'm gonna butcher it, but essentially Kim's worried because her kids are home with their dad.
That was a pretty good one.
That was solid. I'm gonna be nice and just throw you in there, Jules, and I think you deserve it.
Nice.
I thought you crushed Nikki.
Yep.
Maybe MVP. Dude, she absolutely killed Tony Hinchcliffe and
Schultz was good.
Schultz was great, and he had to back cleanup, man. He had to. He brought it home. And then Kevin's the host, so I don't get it. But
Does he get in there?
I guess we'll count him. He did do a set at the beginning, I guess, kind of.
He set the stage.
Yeah.
That shit nothing was off limits.
He let it rip. Yes, he did.
He away. I thought I was sitting there like, oh shit, he did that.
Yeah, and again, I haven't watched this thing, but you were sitting closer to Tom. I've heard from a couple people that he looked pretty damn uncomfortable at the start.
Yeah, he was getting like "I love you" from his like sisters and stuff. Like, he's like.
Oh, the fire thing was when Tom checked Jeff Ross.
Bro.
I think that was 100% real.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell y'all something. Because the reason why I think it's real is because they told us no jokes about happy endings with Bob Kraft. Because I had a Bob Kraft tag.
Oh.
I had that joke about Randy Moss. I was like, Randy Moss, you made sure on Super Bowl Sunday it's the only people celebrating a happy ending with a priest.
Oh, yeah.
And then the tag was, and of course, Bob Kraft.
Yeah.
And they were like, Tom asked us not to do anything with the massage shit. I was like, all right, cool. Like, the guy's coming here for this thing. Like, whatever. He's not getting roasted. He's sitting in the fucking stands. Like, all right. And then Jeff did it. And then Tom walks up and he goes, yo, cut that shit out. Or don't do that again.
Yeah. Don't say that shit.
Yeah.
But think about it. Like, this is the first comic that goes on, a live roast, and it's your night.
Yeah.
He was ready to shut the whole thing down. That's an alpha ass move right there.
Yeah.
Like for this guy who basically let him go.
Yeah.
Bob Kraft didn't re-sign him.
Yeah.
And he still feels that kind of loyalty.
Brady would sign team-friendly deals, relatively speaking.
Yeah. I thought it was a alpha. Most people would get caught up in that moment and go, I don't want to ruin. And he's like, this shit don't matter. What matters is I said to that guy that those jokes weren't going to be made.
Yeah.
And he agreed to come.
Mhm.
And then you broke the rule. I think it was that and then Brady's kids. And it was just like, who's going to fuck?
Yeah.
Brady's talk about somebody's fucking kids.
Brady's psycho.
Yeah.
He's a psycho.
He's the greatest ever.
At one point, Jeff Ross made a massage joke because what's his name was there? Kraft.
Kraft.
And then that was the only thing that Tom Brady got up and got in his ear and was like, enough of that.
Really?
Yeah.
The one thing people are wondering about today was Brady really pissed about you making a crack towards a massage joke?
Come on.
No?
Come on.
No?
No way. No way.
Because he came up, he said, knock that ass off, Jeff.
He's having fun.
Okay, good. Fantastic.
Having fun, it's like that's his dad, that's like Robert Kraft is like a father figure to him, he was just showing his love for Robert Kraft, and Robert Kraft loved it. We had a great talk afterwards, and he was so happy that I gave him a shout out and a salute. It was beautiful.
It was.
I love Robert Kraft. I say that shit again. Okay.
Do you think that was a bit?
No way. That was playful.
Playful, right?
Absolutely. He got up out of his seat and went like this in front of everyone. He knows it's being recorded.
Yeah,
right?
He
could have been like...
Jeff Ross was looking the other way, like waiting for it.
Anybody don't do that shit again. It wasn't like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't think that was like, they make more of it than it was, I don't think. Because how are you going to come out of the gate as the guy that's being roasted and immediately be like, hey now.
Right. I saw Nikki's jokes. They're on like the Instagram account now. She was real. I mean, they were all great. They were all, everybody was fucking ripping.
Yeah, killer at the forum. Kevin Hart hosting. It was a real who's who of who's gay, and it was cool to see it was like a lot of our friends. Like we know Schultz, we know Tony, we know Nikki. Like that was our people. It wasn't like Gilbert Gottfried. Whatever happened to him?
He's dead.
Or like Artie Lang or Norm Macdonald.
When was the last great roast? It was like Comedy Central days back in the day.
We loved the Charlie Sheen one because of Patrice.
Oh, yeah.
That was 12, 13 years ago.
Bieber one was good. Yeah, like the Trump one. Like there was a run of really great ones that Comedy
Yeah.
Central did.
Yeah, there's it was really fucking good.
I feel like Kev tried to come at you at the end. And he ain't really have nothing, bro. He ain't really have nothing, son. I'm not saying he bombed, but I mean, he ain't really have nothing.
It is funny because you can see the prompters too.
Bro, there's a part that's so funny. Tony's doing a joke, and you just see Bert behind him mouthing the words to the joke as he's saying it. I was dying laughing. I was like, oh, I forget there's a
that
prompter.
Was Gronk the entire time.
No, he's
reading in his head, but mouthing the words.
That's awesome. I would do the same thing 1,000,000%. Yeah, I just like to be ahead. I'm like, ooh.
But I gotta say, like, you know, when you host the thing too, you can kind of be personality versus material. I thought Kevin killed. He had great material. He had great energy. He always kept it fun and funny. He would kind of.
Just a very generous laugher as well. He's got that infectious.
Yeah. He was great.
Gronk, I loved Gronk's part of the roast and him just being like, yeah, you know, he's trying to yell at me, but what did I do? I caught it. So it's like, oh, you guys had your own little tensions and like different stuff, and hearing you guys kind of, you know, toss and throw that kind of that shit. As a fan, it was like kind of having an insider's like view into it.
Yeah.
But then there was just like wild shit going on, like Gronk spiking that glass and like.
Is there gonna be a law? I think will there be a lawsuit? I think someone.
Dude. That's what I said. Me and Drew were sitting on the couch. I was like, that lady got hit and she's pretty pissed off. She was like pissed. And I was like, oh, this isn't good.
Tony crushed, I heard. Nikki crushed. I heard one other person crushed, but I don't know who.
Tony and Nikki were the strongest.
Was it possibly Gronkowski?
Gronk, yeah, probably.
Was that the third? What everybody was saying was
really
great.
Funny. He's really, really funny.
I felt so bad. It was a live thing. I was like, oh, I guess it's coming. I wasn't on Netflix, and everyone's like, oh my God, you were great, you're great. And then I'm like, I didn't see it.
Kevin Hart is a real talent too. I would actually say he was maybe the third before. Like, he's in the moment, funny, winging it. Also has jokes ready, but like that guy is super talented.
He should commit to this, to entertainment.
Yeah. I shook Gronk's hand.
You did?
My hand was so small in his hand.
Oh, that's really nice, Benj.
Did you see that when Gronk broke the shot glass? I think he was drinking a little too much after his roast set, and he did the most frat boy thing where he slammed a piece of shot glass into the ground, which shattered all the way completely into the first front rows. Literally, there was an Asian girl next to me that I think got glass in her eye, and she was like, ugh. Like the whole time, like trying to keep it cool for the cameras. And yeah, it was funny too because those things are humbling. Like at some point you're at the table. I'm already, I'm already honored to be at the table I'm at. It's sick. But then the camera guy comes up and he's trying to film Dana White, and he goes and looks at me. He's like, can you scoot out of the way? So it is still a very humbling experience, but it was awesome. Everybody crushed. Nikki Glazer crushed. Tony Hinchcliffe crushed. All of my friends did so good. It was produced amazingly. Like very rarely do things go that well. Just the response I've had from this, people are like, it was a catharsis. People are so excited that something went so dirty, so filthy, so dark and offensive. It feels like people are jubilant about it. It's not like people are actually offended in any way. I haven't sensed that at all. The only kind of pushback has been seeing headlines that Giselle is disappointed.
Oh, boo-hoo.
And fair enough. I would be too if I were her. Like, she wanted no part of this, you know? Like, that's the only kind of negative response coming out of this. So I think people are so excited to have this kind of breach of we can say anything again. But I will say that this is kind of the only night that's allowed where I really took it as like, I can't get canceled tonight no matter what I say, because I could always fall back on the fact that this is a roast and this is what you asked for. This is what I'm being paid to do. And I don't know that is, it definitely would help the conversation, but I think this is truly the one special place where you really can say anything.
I think this will be like the defining point in our generation where people go, oh, the woke shit's dead. And it's already been dead.
Tony said the F-bomb live on Netflix.
Yeah. But it's like
no tweets.
Yeah. The point I'm trying to make is like it's already been dead. This was a moment where you had people that had everything to lose, i.e. a Tom Brady, a guy who could be worth $1 billion. He has these like mainstream connections. He's going to be on Fox hosting the show. Like he's making gay jokes and people are making gay jokes about him, racist, homophobic jokes, but nobody really seemed to go, oh my God.
Yeah.
To me, that's like the pendulum swinging. And this is like the cultural point. It already has happened. We've noticed it. It's like you roll your eyes when anybody says woke anymore. Yeah. But this is like, I think the moment America realizes.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens after this. I'm very curious.
Maybe that's why there was no good roast for 7-8 years. Whether it would have gone well or not, I bet Suits were like, we can't take this risk.
You're 100% right. That from the people I spoke to. They're like, everybody's afraid to do it because the jokes that are funny, they don't want to say.
It's not the comics that are afraid. It's the
out
celebrities,
Suits.
and the execs were like, "Oh, I don't know, this could get us in trouble.
Wow,
we
that's
could
a good
lose
point.
sponsors."
Yeah,
That's a
Tom
great point.
admitting to a Deflategate. I was oh shit. Some might put a little asterisk on this little record, bro.
Give me 20 million, I would have admitted it. I mean, now his set was good.
Yeah.
That Kanye Kim joke is great.
Great.
I wish I knew Kim was there. I had no clue.
Yeah.
When I did the rehearsal, I saw a chair that said Kim Kardashian, and I was like, "Get the fuck out of here!" And I wonder if the production was saving that for Tom to make that joke.
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because poor Tom got to go up at the end.
Yeah.
You know, so like,
Yeah.
what does he have left?
Yeah.
You know?
It was sick.
Champion.
Just cool
dude.
all around.
Absolute
And
champion.
then you talked to Tom?
Yeah, I got to talk to Tom a little bit.
How long was the conversation? Tell me everything he said. How does
What
he
did he
enunciate?
smell
How
like?
does his
Yeah,
mouth
what did he
look?
smell like? What did his hands feel like?
Just a nice dude, like, you know, I just asked him, one, how he prepared. And I was
Yeah.
like, were you like working it out? And he was like, I would do it in front of the guys.
Yeah.
So I imagine the guys are like, you know, maybe the players are like his team.
Yeah.
But it looked like he had done the jokes before.
Yeah.
You know? And but yeah, that was about it. Nothing crazy with Tom.
Yeah.
Drew Bledsoe's a fucking G.
Yeah, he seems awesome.
Like fun.
Yeah.
Like him and his brothers are fun. They hit the Comedy Store afterwards.
Really?
Oh, really? They were there?
Yeah, they're just judging roast battle or something like that. Like
Awesome.
They would just he texts me, just goes, Comedy Store, pull up.
As if you've never heard of that.
What's the address?
That's awesome.
Yeah, they were good.
Ben Affleck, what was it? What was he like? I'm always fascinated by
meet
him. I'm
him.
such a fan. You didn't?
No, we didn't meet even Brady before the show began. We were just like got mic'd, got sat, and then all of a sudden the show starts. Like,
Is that one of the
we
reasons they
didn't
do
meet
it,
each
you
other?
think? So there's no...
No, because I guess maybe this is a different production company this time, different network. It used to be Comedy Central. We would all hang out a little bit before, like 5 minutes before you'd shake their hand, like the guy you're about to roast. But there was none of that this time. And then Affleck, I think, just wanted in and out because he didn't want anyone to even know he was there to be roasted. And I think he was supposed to stay on stage after he got done, but he booked it out of there because Tom referenced him in his set at some point, and it was written in the prompter as if Ben would still be there, and he was gone. So I think either he got out because it didn't go the way he wanted it to, or he got out because he's like, I didn't realize it was going to be this kind of thing. I'm not going to sit there and get jokes told about me.
Damn.
Did you watch the roast?
I did. I watched it.
The whole thing?
Watched. I think I might have missed the very beginning. Haven't gone back to check it out. But
Oh, I heard it's long.
it is long.
Did they do any jokes about Kevin Hart's height?
Yes.
That's the problem with the roast. They're just mean. People's feelings get hurt. If I was up there, I would try as hard as I could to cry.
That'd be great.
Just see if maybe they'd stop. People have always asked if I will be on the roast, and I've to be honest, I saw Jeff Ross the week before the roast, and he encouraged me. He said I should do one. He looks like he was in that Dune sequel.
He does.
You know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Maybe I'll hold out. You know who I want to roast? Seinfeld.
Oh man.
Oh man, wouldn't that be a fun roast? Seinfeld. And here's how I would want this to go. I would want to be the host of this. I would want to be the host of the Jerry Seinfeld roast. And then I'd want no comics to show up. And I'd want no audience to show up. And it's just 2 hours of me looking at Jerry going, this speaks volumes, doesn't it? Turns out you're not as loved by your peers as you once thought.
What was the reaction like from Tom? What did he tell you? Did you get a chance to talk to him and get his reaction?
He was like, that was awesome. He's like, I had fun. And he just told us that keep doing what you guys do. He was a great sport about all of it.
Have you heard around about Giselle's reaction to the roast? Do you know anything?
No.
Okay. Well, in general, I hear she's just, a little upset.
Is she?
Yeah, just a little bit, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That means everyone did their job.
Wait, have you heard from Tom? What do you think?
Tom Brady said, good luck with my career. He did. I was like, I don't think he listened to me.
Any word from the Giselle camp is what I want to know. Right. Any word?
Yeah, they said, I don't speak Portuguese, so I couldn't understand what they said.
Thank you both so much.
Because I was really looking forward to Tom Segura and Burt Kreischer, and I thought they're set together. I was like, man, no, let these guys go.
I
like
know.
it was too scripted, man. These guys are the friggin' funniest
They're
dudes.
funny.
I'm with you. So funny, and I felt like it was a little too scripted and set up between the two of them.
I think they started running out of spots.
Oh, gotcha. So they had,
You know what I mean? Because they started bringing like Bill, Peyton,
right?
Like everyone starts coming,
Kardashian.
and I think they all came within like the last 3 or 4 days or committed.
So far, we've heard from dozens of comedians and a few athletes on the roast of Tom Brady. But the one question still remaining on everyone's mind is, what does Tom Brady think?
Like I said, I loved
when the jokes were about me. I thought they were so fun. I didn't like the way that it affected my kids. So it's the hardest part about like the bittersweet aspect of when you do something that you think is one way and then all of a sudden you realize I wouldn't do that again because of the way that it affected actually the people that I care about the most in the world. So like it makes you in some ways a better parent going through it. Like I said, when I signed up for that, I love when people were making fun of me. And I always said, like, when I was going through all the Deflategate stuff in 2015, 2016, I watched 3 things on TV. I watched Premier League soccer, I watched golf, and I watched comedy shows. Because every time I turn on SportsCenter, I was like, are you f***ing kidding me? Right. So it's like, I just want to like laugh. And so I wanted to do the roast because the guy Jeff Ross became someone that I knew, and then you don't see the full picture all the time. So I think that it's a good lesson. Like for me as a parent, I'm going to be a better parent as I go forward because of it. And at the same time, I'm happy everyone had a lot of fun. And I do think for me, just outside of let's say that, it always is good. Like if we're not laughing about things, we're crying. And I think we should have more fun. Like the guys, like what did we love? We loved laughing in the locker room. Let's do more of that and love each other. And come on, man, celebrate other people's success.
If you're looking for a full review of the roast of Tom Brady and what it means for the future of organized roasting, we have the perfect video for you on the end screen right after this. And for those of you who are tired of this topic, we'll even include a separate video for you to enjoy as well. Thanks for watching.
At Joke World. That's it, at Joke World.
And the world is WRLD.
That's a great YouTube channel, Joke World. Check it out.